Welcome back to Sharp Edge News. Do me a favor, hit like, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Please do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Today we have some trendy stories around the world. We're going to catch up on Natasha Akpabio versus Senator Akpabio. Today we're going to talk about the Meranda versus Obasa's Lagos politics, including a special cameo appearance by Desmond Elliot. And we're going to also talk about Trump versus Zelensky. All right, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to welcome a man of two powerful roles, publisher of SharpEdgeNews.com and High Chief Odokwetu of Obasa, Ondo State, where, whether in the newsroom or in the kingdom, he's always ahead. Give it up for the legend, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola. Good to be back. Always a pleasure to be on this show. And then our deep appreciation and gratitude to our viewing audience all over the world. Thanks for allowing us into the privacy of your devices, your living room, your player time at work, wherever. Indeed, we do not take you for granted, and we say thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. All right, so I'm sure you have something special for us from SharpEdgeNews.com today. If you can fill us in on that before we get into some trendy stories around the world.
Very much so. Thank you again. Let us point out the fact that these are interesting times. The best of times, probably the worst of times. Like Charles Dickens would put it in his epic work, Great Expectations. What do I mean? Whether you are talking of global events or events strictly concerning Africa and indeed Nigeria, you would notice that the world is going where no one has ever gone. Earlier in the week, or last week, as the week was running to a close, there was a landmark judgment in Nigeria. The Supreme Court virtually putting all the blames and all the faults on the governor of Rivers State, South Nigeria, on what has been known to be unprecedented or probably similar to seismic political developments in the country of Nigeria before the present republic. Somebody who has this self-delusion of being the godfather in the politics of that state, trying to puppeteer the sitting governor, Sim Fubara, who has become the falcon that will not listen to the falconer. Hence, the center not holding, and mere anarchy is loose upon the land. It's loose upon the entire space of a river state. So you talk of things fall apart right there. What do I mean? Practically, what the Supreme Court has done is almost like handing victory to Nyesom Wike, the current Federal Capital Territory Minister in Nigeria. Everybody says, oh, he's not involved, but when you look at the clip of the victory dance that took place around him with his political apostles, maybe apostates, you may call them. you will understand the hand that is on the remote concerning events of that state. So where everybody is today is to watch out whether Sobra will be impeached or at some point maybe he will just say it's had enough, whether he wants to throw in the towel. But in all this, the people of River State are sacrificed. And then fast forward to the events on the global stage. Honestly, everybody was looking at America as the standard bearer when it comes to modern civilization. But what we have, almost a situation in which wartime British Prime Minister Chamberlain was waving the white flag, almost in total surrender to Adolf Hitler. And here, undeserved victory or undeserved armistice, almost in a shocking manner, is being handed to Vladimir Putin of Russia. And the consciousness of fallen USSR is staring us in the face that Kremlin may be back on the block as the place to watch out for. And at the slightest provocation, you find a man who should have been the leader of the free world dangling the card of possibility of a third world war. Now, the victim is no longer the one that must be pitied. The aggressor, the belligerent antagonist, becomes the one that has been handed victory. So you look at it, it seems like we haven't made much progress as human race. It's almost like the title of the 1988 work by the prominent Nigerian novelist Chinua Achebe, Money Yet on Creation Day. So we haven't really moved far from the way we were in the Obasian, what Thomas Hobbes would call original state of man, civilization. Life being short, brutish, and nasty. So now, we are in the era of might is right. And for everybody that likes to take sides when political events are unfolding, oh, this is right, that one is wrong. These people do not really care about morality anymore. You may applaud as long as you want. Oh, on sitting of Mojisola, Meranda is not okay. Oh, the coming of Obasa is politicians do not care about common folks. Once they can rehabilitate themselves, backslap each other, and you have seen it in the situation of the presentation of Habibi's autobiography. So they don't care whose ox is God. What I'm saying in this special is that remember, these are interesting times, and think of taking care of yourself and your state of mind first. If you are rooting for any politician thinking they got your back, like they say in Nigeria, or your lower, you are on your own. That said, I will climb down my soapbox by way of introduction tonight in the sober reality that we all can sit back and reflect on the critical stage that may foreshadow what is to come. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me? You can still hear me, right?
Clearly.
All right, great. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. We have some trendy stories to discuss around the world. Shout out to Natu. Natu says MOP. Natu, my name is Ola. MOP, we need to get High Chief on Dr. Damages. I saw Natu was hanging out with Dr. Damages a few days ago, so she's right about that. We should make that.
Yeah, my regards to Rudolph Okonkwo. That is Dr. Damages.
Yes.
Yeah, if we think it's something that we should explore, we are open to all that. All of us must work as a team so that we can push back against the evil that is threatening to overpower and overshadow all of us.
Exactly. Yeah. With that being said, hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook as well. We have trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back. Let's talk about you're going to bring me up to speed with what's going on in Nigeria. I know today was kind of crazy and hectic. In Lagos politics, Meranda quits, Obasa returns, and Desmond Elliot breaks down. I'm going to play a short video. Maybe you can explain this Desmond Elliot part for me. Give us about 30 seconds and then we'll get into the story.
Speaker, can I let us talk first? Honorable Sheyi Lawa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think you've made history as the first Speaker of this Lagos State House of Assembly. First female Speaker of this Lagos State House of Assembly. Madam Speaker, the little time you spend as the Speaker of this Lagos State Assembly, you've shown a good leadership skill, which everybody can testify to that. Your calmness is second to none, and your
You can see Mudashiru Obasa taking oath of office as Speaker after he was elected again.
By appreciating my colleagues. I want to thank you for your support, your dedication, your loyalty, and your staunch belief in our party and the utmost respect for our party leader.
All right, so I'm just going to allow you to tell us what's going on. A few days ago, I did see you with full confidence saying whatever happened before did not happen. Just pretend it did not happen. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said in the clip I saw a few days ago. But that has come to fruition right now. Can you bring us up to speed with what's going on, sir?
Ola.
Sir.
Let me wear my thinking hat as a Yoruba high chief. And you know the way the well-known Fuji maestro in Nigeria will put it, that is Alhaji Abbas Obesere, the way he will put it, Agbalagba Shen Kodoro. You know what that means?
No,
yeah, you don't let out everything inside of you. You understand what I'm saying? But really,
I get it. I kind of. Mm-hmm.
Two things here. Number one, let me commend the political gladiators, that is, those ancient Romans would refer to as conspiracy fathers, lawmakers. In the Senate of old in Rome, in the days of Cicero, times of Julius Caesar, and so on and so forth. They used to call them conspiracy fathers. And so the events that took place, the back end, the undercurrents of what manifested today, is what I do not want to talk too much about. But let me commend them for one thing. They were able to bring themselves back from the precipice. And I'm digging into the history of events in the former Western region, the old time Western region, Yoruba land, when our forebears were captured as and described as the wild, wild west. So that these people could reinvent themselves means that there is some kind of considerable political evolution that has taken place. In the past, it will be, that battle line will be drawn there. It is fight to finish. Thank God they were able to bring themselves back from the brink. That said, the other aspect is, honestly, a man behaved as if he is indispensable, as if one head is more than that of millions that are known as Lagosians. Forced himself with gusto and maybe never before seen show of power, and he is rewarded today. That is the sad aspect of the event that transpired today. As for our good brother Desmond Elliot, experiencing a meltdown, of course, you have heard about some people trying to rubbish now ex-speaker Meranda.
Meranda or Miranda? Is it Meranda or Miranda?
I think it's Meranda. So now,
okay, Miranda, okay.
When she teared up at some point during the struggle to resist the comeback of Obasa, some people said, "Oh, why was he crying and all that?" Forgetting that we all have different coping mechanisms through which we can absorb. They were almost making it to look like, oh, crying is a woman's thing. That is not true. As tough as I may sound at times, the sight of somebody suffering easily makes me to tear up. When people comes to the palace and I look at what people want to impose on them as fines and what have you, and I am looking at, oh, this guy can barely heck out a living. Maybe he has not even had his breakfast, and then you want him to pay huge fines. I cry. Sometimes what I do is to get up from my seat amongst chiefs and invite such an individual to some backstage and give them money, go and pay that fine, and I come back straightening up because there must be something that gets within us, unless somebody is an animal. That is when you would say only women cry. So if Desmond Elliot unraveled during today's proceedings, of course, his was manifested by way of crying. How about that Honorable Sheyi that had so many gaps and misspeaks? For example, saying the Right Honorable Mojisola Meranda was the first speaker, when he meant to say, oh, the first female speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, and other events that played out there. But part of the undercurrent was the way the APC machinery showed up full force at the House of Assembly. The party chairman, all his ESCO members came, and you saw the way people were almost idolizing President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and the declaration about the party supremacy, virtually saying that, oh, Baba Sope, almost like what you would hear in Kwara politics. Oloye Sobe, the way people used to venerate the late Dr. Olushola Saraki, Oloye himself. So they came and they said, this is the decision of the party. Of course, what I must not say is that when they're talking of that party, it's not the party, it's what somebody sitting somewhere wants. And which was why Obasa has always been so bold, almost showing no remorse. Even the speech he gave today, apart from saying he meant to say he was celebrating his kangaroo comeback. But you know what? Everybody was like, okay, the common folks in Lagos had wanted to resist the push of the push for comeback and overlordship. Yes, and I'm being deliberate in the use of the word that Obasa wanted to play the card of an overlord. And so when he got repackaged and you saw the whole thing in real time and in full glare, how the whole thing was allowed to play out, you feel sorry. And this is why I said common folks should not pick sides when you see all these political figures.
Don't pick sides. That's very important.
Yes, when they are savaging themselves, they know how to get back. They know how to rehabilitate themselves. In it all, what is the deal for the commoner? For example, so many things were alleged against Obasa. So those things have been forgiven. Those things have been forgiven. Has he been told to go and sin no more? There is no penitence anywhere that we know of. Those things will never be investigated. And probably has promised them that Omola will share Omo. It's almost like, a stubborn a stubborn father accompanying an erring pupil to school, telling the school principal, "Agbọ́ pé Ọmọlá ṣẹ̀yìn, adẹ̀ ti bọ́ Ọmọlá wí. Ẹ fọ́ Ọmọlá láyè kó padà sí orí àga." But the school principal has not been assured that Ọmọlá ò ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́. Maybe I should turn that to English. The school principal, is paid a visit by one of the parents to an erring pupil in an high school. And now, instead of appealing to, he is almost giving command that, oh, our child misbehaved, and we have admonished him. Not waiting for the school principal to tell the erring pupil to go back to class. Is this father that is saying, allow the child to march back to the classroom and sit with his classmates? So somebody has not asked for forgiveness and has been offered one on a platter. You think it's going to be a changed person? Let us continue to fold our arms and anticipate what the future holds for politics in Lagos State and Nigeria indeed. Thank you very much.
So, quick question for you, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you think, and I want to ask you and the general audience, so they can leave some comments and share their thoughts with us. Do you think he's finally humbled? Because this guy allegedly is he more or less leads like more of a thuggery type of I don't know, like
A
many
lot of
politicians in Nigeria.
a lot
Anyway,
of the manner,
right?
a lot of the manner.
Exactly.
Well,
Do you think
understanding,
he's
I think
humbled? Do you think he's ready to? Is it like a pow on the hands and he's ready to? Do you think he's ready to be humbled now? Or do you think this is just another
I really,
comeback?
I can hardly spare any such thought. I can hardly have any such thought about him from his speech today before adjourning the sitting of the House Synod, that is indefinitely. I didn't see that in him. I did not see that in him. But you know what? Nobody is irredeemable. We are looking at his outside construct. God is looking at his heart. We can only hope that it turns a new leaf.
Okay.
Simplicity. Yeah.
All right, great. So the same question will go for everybody watching us. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Please hit like, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications. Do you think it's going to turn a new leaf? Is it going to be a better representation of his people in the House of Assembly, especially as the Speaker of the House? We'd like to see your thoughts. Thank you so much. We have other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back.
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position to
this question.
dictate that.
That's exactly what you're
I'm
doing.
not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about.
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about.
III. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you?
Them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us, because as you know, that's right there, that's the border. Gave $300 billion and $350 billion more accurately to a country to.
Is the Ukraine minerals deal now dead, or can it be revived? What's your?
Well, I'll let you know. We're making a speech. You probably heard about it tomorrow night, so I'll let you know tomorrow night. But no, I don't think so. It was 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. We would have kept.
All right, welcome back. So we're talking about Trump slams Zelensky, calls him ungrateful after attack. Are we going to declare this? Was this an attack, or this is just Americans standing in their position as the leader of the world? There's a short video that I really want you to hear. I won't be able to play it. Let's just go ahead and get your take on this. What's your take?
Do you have
This
the
has been
video?
happening for 2 days. You want me to play it? Okay, I'll play.
Yeah,
I'll play.
let's pray.
Yeah. He's gonna repeat what you just said a little bit, but I want you to hear something after that.
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume after this war will finish. Yes, maybe one, maybe something like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper.
So on the screen you can see a middle-aged man, white man, crying. He's crying because he just saw that video.
This man is fighting for his country. A sovereign nation got invaded. His people were dying. And this motherfucker talks about him wearing a suit. I hate this fucking country. I've never in my life felt like I do right now. I don't give a fuck what he wears. This man has been respectful to every leader in the world.
All right, so let's snap back. Let's talk about the real world stuff.
Thank you. The last video you played actually
Yes.
captured my feeling about the whole thing. See, if anybody that has aversion, that is opposed to all forms of violence, including wars, growing up, some of the books that I read, number one, Ernest Hemingway, American Nobel laureate, novelist, who unfortunately died committing suicide because of what used to run in the family into which he was born, registered heavily with me, especially his landmark work. His landmark works, whether you're talking of Old Man and the Sea, etc., etc. Another one is a book titled Farewell to Arms. And you have had me on the death of any man diminishing all of us. That came from an English poet. What am I saying here? You remember events of 1969, 1968, 1969 Nigeria, when at the peak of Nigerian Civil War, General Gowon and his wife, the delectable Mrs. Victoria Gowon, got married. How that really angered so many people, including the Nigerian wartime hero, Benjamin Adekunle, also known as Black Scorpion. How he was said to have challenged the audacity of Gowon to be throwing parties recklessly in the name of marriage, while young people, young soldiers, and what have you were dying in Nigerian war. So somebody trying to, honestly, the entire package, let me capture it this way. You don't have to administer poison or charm on all these world leaders who have always glamorized deception and mendacity as diplomacy. They are the ones that would tear themselves apart. Yorubas will call it Emafogun Bawonja. The way they have always treated countries that are developing, particularly African countries, the way they knock our heads against each other is what you see them playing out before the world in real time and as real life television. Why should anybody be bothered about what he was wearing when millions of his citizens in Ukraine would have to contend with ash cold, would have to stand the onslaught from an aggressive territorial and imperialistic Russia. So is it not mundane for anybody to bring out the fact of him not wearing a suit? Are the soldiers dying in the war front? Are they wearing suits? Is it a tea party for them? Is it is war picnic? So for the imbecile who asks that idiotic question, why are you not in suit? You will see that that is the height of insensitivity and wickedness. He is probably talking from an air-conditioned place. You should compare between that and where our troops, thousands, millions of our troops all over the world tonight, American troops, what they are facing. Are they thinking of some hospitable suits? People that are taken away, yanked off from their families, laying down their lives for all of us. So I think beyond the Ukrainian condition, I think of troops all over the world, soldiers all over the world, laying down their lives so that the world can be a free place. That is that about him. The issue of him not appearing in suit. He is a statesman. He is a statesman. So he knows what he's contending with. He respects everybody. And like I said, do not charm them. Do not give them poison. They will tear themselves apart. You see the way they would lead people from innocuous places at times and then bring them to their lofty offices in the Western world and trash talk them, talk down on them. You know the way their tongue can tear people down. The bullish attitude. That is one thing that I find so objectionable about the way Zelensky was treated. What did he do? If you have been backing a man and you are now going to say, oh, no more support for you, must you do it in a shameless manner that suggests that you are a traitor? This is what I see in their conduct. And then see the gross exaggeration of figures. Where did America spend $350 billion supporting Ukraine? The actual figure is $119 billion. But you see, put a big name on a dog so that I can be overwhelmed. When people hear all these figures, including their phantom claim, their lies that, you said money was voted to Nigeria or wherever and it was used to fund Boko Haram. Remember, I warned about that machine, the propaganda machine, what they want to use it to do. And if anybody is obsessed with the possibility of third world war now, you know who that individual is. This has never happened. In this same America where under Senator Joe, whatever, people were described as Reds. You know, people were hunted as USSR sympathizers and communists. And now openly, you find the leader of the country obnobbing with somebody that has no respect for democracy, no respect for rule of law, no respect for free press, and what have you. And here somewhere, Donald Trump boasted about his hatred for Associated Press, AP. So when AP is pushed aside from the press corps in the White House, substituted by a Russian media interest, what does that tell you? It can't get worse. We all should brace up for what will come. For how long would I be able to speak freely like I am doing tonight? When are they going to come for me? When are they going to come for you? When are they going to come for everybody that lost freedom? But you know what? I didn't come this far. I did not get American citizenship. Escaping from the tyranny and oppression in a place like Nigeria in the past. I did not bargain for this. This is not what I was thinking would happen. And this guy is taking us somewhere nobody has ever taken us to. Even look at J.D. Vance, the man that said so much about what Donald Trump represented before he had his own flip. And then now, they first used him to want to beat down that guy. And thank God he was able to push back on them. And so he's been able to, like the Bible will put it, how the evil one, how Jesus was able to make a shame, an open parade of Satan. I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not a preacher. But that is exactly almost what I have seen in this situation. They have been thoroughly exposed. And this will tell you how they used to treat people from Africa. They must whoop you until you change your name from Kunta Kinte to something else. They must tongue lash you until you begin to doubt your own reality and your identity. That's what they were doing to Zelensky there. It's an old trick. It's a well-known game. It's a known route, well-known path. So tonight, as we approach midnight in America, and the market forces are beginning to to react to the possibility of tariffs being introduced against Canada, being introduced against Mexico, being introduced against China, and what have you. And he was asked the question by the first question he got White House, where did you get the impression about this tariff that will be paid for by foreign countries? Knowing fully well that we, American consumers, American citizens, and businesses would, at the end of the day, pick the bills. It is nothing other than sales tax. That is the simple definition of tariffs. He doesn't think that would devolve on us. But you know what? This also shall pass. Governing with lies and deception, after we have our awakening, the day after this administration, we will take stock and look at it. Oh, so we were not vigilant enough. Look at what we were visited with. I hope at some point we would be able to paraphrase the wartime heroic Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Sir Winston Churchill. Maybe never again. Maybe never again. Because this is almost
so on the screen, it's funny that you just mentioned that I have a picture of Winston Churchill, who also did not wear a suit for a meeting with the US president during the war.
Why would you want to wear a suit? If you're an authentic general, you are not a pepper soup drinking general now. What is the need? You must roll your sleeves up. Did you hear Sir Winston Churchill at the peak of that war when he was rallying the troops in England, in United Kingdom? He said, give us the tool, we will finish the damn stuff. So this time calls for people rolling up their sleeves. It's a call to duty. And you want the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army to be parading. They want to make him unpopular. Thank God he was able to push back on them. They wanted to humiliate him. It has ended in their own Waterloo and the humiliation. Did you notice the heroic welcome he got when he arrived Europe, when he went to London? Did you see the way protesters descended on the camping ground where J.D. Vance went to last weekend? He had to change the accommodation. At the end of the day, the will of the millions of Americans will triumph. But let nobody try to humiliate their fellow world leaders. See,
in the end,
whether the king of Shagamu or Remo is small in stature, he's still the head of the whole dominion. No matter how small you think is a comedian, Zelensky is still the elected leader of Ukraine, and he must be respected.
Absolutely.
So thank you for, yeah, these are interesting times indeed.
Yes,
Let's
it's an
see the
interesting
way
time. That's all. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, you saw the way the markets were tumbling today in anticipation of what could happen. But you know what? Things will stabilize. This also shall pass. This also shall pass. It's almost like everybody that is being tormented across the world is just for the moment. There will be a better day. There will be a new day.
600 points disappeared today.
See that?
600 points, 1,500 points, Nasdaq. Wow. All right. So
you can't make you cannot make these things up. If all your life you have been a weak student and then you want to be, you force your way into, you bamboozle some people into office. At some point you will be exposed, and that is what we are witnessing. You saw it in Nigeria under Buhari now. A man who perpetually failed the WAEC and then suddenly promoted himself to be the most.
So who would you blame for that? I'm going to leave you with this question. I want to ask this question from the audience too. Who would you blame for a Buhari situation or Trump situation? Who would you blame, sir?
Unsuspecting electorate. If you sleep on the wash, anything will happen on your nation. That is just what has happened.
Okay, well,
eternal vigilance is the price somebody said we must pay to keep our liberty. So when you are not vigilant, anybody will win any election. Voters apathy will arise and all that. People will ask the question, is democracy worth it? And when you think democracy is not worth it, people would vote all kinds of buffoons into office. That's what I can say.
Let me make sure I know what I'm disagreeing with. What do you mean by the electorate? Are you talking about the people?
Also, for example, let me give you the figures. In this election, this cycle of election that just produced this entertainer that is calling himself our commander-in-chief, let me tell you, Democrats were short by 14 million votes compared with the last time Joe Biden won. And this guy only increased his own vote tally by 1 million. So, 13 million different. If those 13 million people had voted,
it doesn't matter, sir.
You think we will have this embarrassment?
But he won.
We are not saying he did not win, but we are talking of voters' apathy. That difference is always there.
Not only did they win, America won what they wanted. In my opinion, in my opinion, and I want to know what side you're taking, the chief or mine, for those of you in the audience. In my opinion, the people are to be blamed for it.
Ultimately, you and I are saying the same thing, Ola.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
We don't have mutually exclusive positions. Same thing we are saying. What I'm saying is that just because, remember in one of our past productions, I predicted this, that let's see where this goes. There is going to be a referendum on the sensibilities and sensitivities of Americans themselves. So now that they got what they wanted by way of majority, tyranny of the so-called majority, where is it leading us? That is what I'm saying.
All right, okay. I'm going to leave the audience with this question. Are we saying the same thing? Because I'm not convinced. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified. We have
good place to leave it. Thank you.
We have a trendy story around the world that we must touch in 10 minutes. We must cover this in 10 minutes. So please help us like and spread this everywhere. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akpabio because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akpabio. And at first, we were at Ikot-Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot-Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just 3 of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away, and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me, and the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate President too, I saw that he also had that to tell me to withdraw that suit and all that.
Okay,
and my
Natasha.
husband charged her that you were the same person who had come to the house to tell him that the ST
Natasha.
was hitting on his wife sexually. So
Okay.
why are you now against my wife standing up for her rights?
Okay,
So
Natasha.
let me tell you something, Mr. Which nobody knows. No, Mr. Rufai, please allow me to say this, please.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Can I say this? Please
Yes,
go
please
ahead.
go ahead. Please go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Senator. Please go ahead.
Now, at the nightclub incident, I believe that was not a slip of tongue. That was not a slip of tongue. He has a number of times told me that there are various ways we can have fun. If we travel, he has a way of making the whole the house, the space. He can basically create a party in the space. Do you understand? Like a nightclub in the space and would have fun and all of that. So that nightclub incident statement was not a mistake. It was
Okay.
more like out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak
Okay,
it.
okay, that's-
But let me.
All right, sir. 7 minutes. Your take. I really want
Thank
to
you
know
very
your take.
much. Thank you very
Sir.
much. I'm going to be very brief about this. And whatever I'm going to say, some of my colleagues are still alive. All of us who were there in Houston when we interviewed Akpabio years back will bear witness to what I want to disclose. But let me also say one thing, that people should be fair to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. When somebody is a sex victim in Nigeria or victim of sexual harassment, molestation, whatever, the way where you go to the police station in Nigeria, even concerning the attacks from all these terrorists and bandits, what have you, at the front desk, those people who take records of complaints, the way they treat prospective victims in Nigeria is appalling and usually very unfair. And that is what you find on display. People falling over themselves, knowing fully well that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan may be speaking the truth here. But because of this cultural thing in Nigeria, the woman is not usually to be believed. And they are copying a page from Torah, Old Testament, and maybe their so-called Sharia. When a man says something, easily they want to believe. But for a woman to say something, they want you to, they want that woman's claim to be substantiated by 4 witnesses at least. Why must it be like that? So, I have no doubt that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan may be right. And you know the one that surprised me the most? The other day I told you that everyone's enemy is always within its fold or in its household. Have you seen the way Senator Ireti Kingibe came out almost like distancing herself from everything that this woman has claimed could be, should be taken as a crucible. The way she's been tormented in the in the Senate. What does that say? Even women, when push comes to shove, women will not stand together. But let me go back to the event in Houston. A prominent journalist, one of us, had gone with us to interview Akpabio in an hotel. And this guy came with his African-American girlfriend. After the whole business of conducting interview sessions with Akpabio, who was then the governor of Akwa State.
Sorry, what year was this?
This should be around maybe around 2012, 2013. I'm not so sure of the date, please, but this happened. Some of my friends, our friends, Femi Shoneye, Jackson Uday, the publisher of Who Online, Emeka Siwe, the owner of African Examiner, Sunday Fashe, The Wheel publisher, all of us were there, and I was there. But what happened? All of a sudden, it was almost like, okay, you need to let go this your beautiful African American girlfriend. That was what Akpabio did that day. Whatever transpired after, we must have left. I do not know. But I remember that journalist whose girlfriend was hit on by Akpabio was never himself anymore. It's almost like humiliating the guy. Of course, you do not blame the guy for feeling somehow about a old governor wanting to take over his girlfriend who had accompanied him for an assignment. But again, everybody would think, oh, if that lady fell for him, it would be. This for me is not a matter of right or wrong. But what I'm saying is that this guy has an antecedent. And all of them running their mouth. And I remember that day, the issue I took him up on was the allegation that he was sponsoring contract killings, political killings in the state. And he denied it. He said, other than signing death warrants for convicts, that he'd never been involved in extrajudicial killing. I would not say what did not happen, but what I noticed happened is what I've told you. Stemming from that, it is not out of place to think that Senator Doahan may be right. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Doahan may be right. I do not know the truth. It's between them. The third person that can verify this for us is God himself. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's say your take in the comment section about this Natasha saga. You know, we're rounding up right now. We just want to hear your take. Want to hear your honest take on it. Earlier on, I saw a video. Some people are claiming that she has a habit of making accusations like this. In my opinion, that is not an excuse to dismiss.
And that is not even true. They are just acting in solidarity with the people who have oppressed her in the past. You know the part she has had to travel to make it to the Senate.
There's a video. There's a video on from about 3 years ago of Reno Omokri accusing this lady of falsely accusing him of wanting to date her, something like that. So, but that was more like dating, not necessarily harassment. But apparently she had lied, according to Reno Omokri, that he made a move.
Can Reno Omokri himself be trusted in everything? These are people that would say one thing today, tomorrow you see them carrying another card. Please. I do not like it when people try to make ladies feel like, oh, they can't stand up for themselves. Everybody should be careful at this point.
No, in fact,
Yeah,
sir, I
even
want to
some
be
of the people,
careful.
wait, Ola, even some of the people who are now claiming that, oh, the ethics and whatever committee in the Senate would look into this and all that. When you look at the opinion of many of them coming from the Senate, they are already biased. Where is she going to get justice? I do not know.
Yes.
I'm not saying she may be right completely. I'm not saying she may be wrong completely. All I'm saying is that justice, fairness, equity must not be sacrificed on the altar of partisanship. And these attempts always at making people, victims to feel like they have no claim whatsoever. You can't deny people justice. God bless all of us.
Yeah. So just to be careful, I want to carefully finish my thought because some people like to jump at half-baked comments in the comments. What I'm saying precisely is that even if she has had 10 events or track record, you still have to take every allegation seriously. That's the way it works.
And our people going to
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
Would our people also deny the fact that this lady has been vilified, has suffered untold suppression, oppression from our political detractors in the past? Yeah. Certainly not. We know she has a story.
So I covered this on Man of Prestige, and if your counter to this is that, well, she has a track record, well, you have something else coming for you, because unfortunately that's not how it works. Every allegations of this nature must be taken seriously, must be investigated. That's how it works. I just wanted to make sure.
Before they say they are trash, which they are always recycling and saying all the time, they should remember they have mothers, they have wives, they have sisters, they have daughters. Whatever you do not want anybody to do to any of this in your circle of what's it called, relationship.
Before I let you go, sir,
any other person. Thank you.
Before I let you go, sir, what's your take on all the Yaloja with the placards protesting against Natasha to submit to the men of our society and leaders? And then one more, what's your take to the wife who came out in full force to defend her husband?
All of them are shameless. Shame on them. They are traitors. Worse than Judas Iscariot. You can't stand with one of their own. Yes. They cannot even hear her out. It's all orchestrated. We know Nigeria. Is it not the same place where 2 million people were on the march in support of murderous Obasa? Is it not the same place where so-called credible men and women gathered the other day to, to honor a political criminal like Ibrahim Babangida Badamasi? Anything goes in Nigeria. You can rent a crowd for any amount. Everybody has a price in Nigeria. So for the Yalojas who always they have nothing doing, not the Yaloja Fayede Ogbesa, please, that's a good one. But for the Yalojas, what do? They feed fat on the sweat of on the sweat of common folks and make life unbearable for them. So this also is not different from what we know about them. And for the woman in the house, she would defend a pot of soup now. What else are you expecting?
Okay, all right.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. All right. Everybody, thank you so much. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, follow everywhere. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care and God bless.